Hey everyone, I'm uploading this video on September 19th. You know what that means, or maybe you don't because it's a random holiday, but it's National Talk Like a Pirate Day. I mean, arg me mateys, I make ye walk the plank if I can't keep this up. You know what? Let's celebrate this holiday that no one likely celebrates a different way. Instead of talking like pirates, I'll talk about pirates. In the video game genre, I like talking about fighting games. The major criteria are the characters have to be defined as pirates, and because I love tropes, the more cliches of pirates in their design and moveset, the better their ranking may be. There will be no restrictions on how many pirates per series. As long as the pirate was playable on a fighting game roster at some point, they're fine by me. So grab your rum and shiver your timbers because it's time for my top 10 pirates in fighting games. Number 10. Pirate from Deadliest Warrior the game. So that show on Spike TV that made up a bunch of scenarios on how different types of warriors would fare in battle against each other? Putting them in a fighting game actually seems like one of the best places to test these theories. However, a licensed fighting game based on a Spike TV show doesn't sound like it would have the most developed mechanics, so it plays like a mediocre 3D fighting game. Still, the pirate character is pirate in its purest form, right down to the name. It is actually pirate, I wasn't being lazy when I called him that. He drinks, he smokes, he shoots his 18th century gun, and swings his pirate sword. Or more, flails it, considering this game's animations. Personality? Leave that to the other entries on this list. Number 9. Riptide from Eternal Champions. Eternal Champions is Deadliest Warrior before Deadliest Warrior, and it's better than that game. It gathers warriors from different time periods who are all about to be killed, now meant to fight in a tournament for their lives. Riptide was about to steal the booty of another pirate who was ready to kill her for doing so, which is why she's here. Her strike attacks always looked cool to me, which are based off Kaju Kenbo martial arts. Her other main attacks are using her crooked blade and creating a whirlwind. As with every character in this game, Riptide has finishing moves. Now move over Sonya Blade because her finishing move is also blowing a kiss, and this kiss turns into giant lips. But guess what? These lips are actually evil and freeze the opponent. And then one of those factors leads to the heart of her opponent exploding. Riptide likes her executions to have lots of steps. Her ship is also pretty deadly, like when she pushes you into the water and then nothing bad happens ever. Cue the shark. Number 8. Loveheart in King of Fighters 14. Her bio says her father's name is Likeheart. So if the concept of love is stronger than like, how do we continue this trend with love's children? What's higher than love? Super love? Big love? Courtney love? 40 love? I guess we don't have to worry about that now. Love is not original to King of Fighters. The out-of-game backstory is King of Fighters 14 wanted to have a team of characters from other SNK properties, with Loveheart being from SNK's pachinko game Sky Love. In-game, they just say she was transported from another world/dimension to make a vague explanation that gives a good enough reason on why she's here. Standard guest character stuff you see in other fighting games. Her general attacks show off her nimble acrobatic moves, with everyone's favorite fighting game attack, the dive kick, which fits the theme of her first name since it's powered by hearts, or has a heart after image, I don't really know the details. Being a good pirate, her main weapon is her sword, which has undefined properties. In her official artwork, it's a real sword, but when fighting, it has an energy glow to it. To further analyze, she doesn't have it in a sheath, so she pulls it from another dimension, or it's some sort of spirit sword. Or maybe the sword is just magic. Or maybe it doesn't really matter, since SNK was likely saying, make this character fun, rather than make this sort of backstory. Number 7. Tron in the Marvel vs. Capcom series. Not all pirates need to sail the 7 seas in a wooden ship. Tron's perfectly content riding the wind in her robot. I mentioned in my mech pilots list that her other 3 professions are inventor, scientist, and pirate. but apparently the latter is her job preference, since her Marvel vs. Capcom 3 bio lists her occupation as Sky Pirate. Remember folks, if you ever need to know which job to list at the top of your resume, Tron says Pirate. I discussed her moveset in the Mech Pilot video, but regarding the pirate part of her persona in Marvel vs. Capcom, it seems her intent for fighting is so she can pillage any valuables her opponent has on them after the match based on her victory quotes. Specifically to the robots or characters in mech suits, she's thankful that she has some new robot parts now, meaning Sentinel and Dr. Doom's suit are going to be repurposed into one of her friendly-looking robots.
No one defeats Servbot! Hidden missiles!
And, since she's after some riches, it makes sense that she is one of the few characters that has the grit to insult Mr. Martial Arts poster boy himself Ryu, and more dangerously Akuma, right to their faces, since they are not worth fighting because they are wandering fighters that don't have a wallet.
Ugh! I smell the stink of poverty on you.
Come on. Fight!
Number 6. Rubyheart in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Rubyheart is one of the few characters that can say she's exclusive to the Marvel vs. Capcom series. Capcom had this rejected Darkstalkers character and thought, it's a ready-made property we own, why not give the Versus series a completely unique character? While Rubyheart's only appearance was in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, you could tell Capcom was pleased with her design at the time, since they put her front and center when you get to that character select screen, rather than defaulting on someone well known like Ryu. With no other series picking her up, Rubyheart has been MIA since MVC 2. Or technically apprehended if the Days of Future Past stage is canon in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. The closest we have is the character Ruby being introduced in the Street Fighter V canon, who's based on Rubyheart but isn't exactly her according to Capcom. They're totally different. One doesn't have an eye patch and that's the difference. Unfortunately, Rubyheart lacks in the personality department, but mostly because we don't have those fun win quotes or arcade mode endings in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Never fear though, she earns her cool points by fighting with an anchor and opening up a treasure chest that releases a bunch of ghosts to attack her foe. If we ever get a Darkstalkers 4, please, 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 or just a fighting game that wants to include Rubyheart, I'd like to see her fleshed out in any way possible. Number 5. Captain Kidd from World Heroes. World Heroes is Eternal Champions before Eternal Champions, and it's less gory than that game. Captain Kidd's backstory is not covered in World Heroes, but since he's from actual history, you can probably get the assumed bio from the Wikipedia page of Captain William Kidd. What you won't find there are his powers that allow him to manipulate water into ocean-themed shapes, like ships and a shark. I think World Heroes took some liberties when making his moveset compared to the actual Captain. I'm not sure if this is even supposed to be the real Captain, since he seems significantly nicer than the history books tell me. Besides a charming smile, 2 of his theme songs have "nice guy" in the title. Plus, he says he'll buy you a drink after he beats you. I'm not sure how good that drink will do you, considering his finishing move is where he hangs you from the imaginary gallows using his anchor, but at least he offered, so I'll take it. Number 4. Jeanette from Mark of the Wolves and King of Fighters. You gotta respect that Jeanette has the passion for being a pirate. She comes from a rich family and spends all the money she gets from her parents on a pirate ship and crew. She really just wants to be a pirate because she's bored. She only steals from the rich, so she's like Robin Hood if he kept everything he stole. She leads the Lillian Knights, who only show up when she's not fighting, but I guess that's why she's the captain. Her wealthy backstory fits her posh look. How many pirates can successfully fight in high heels? I also like that her dress has the Jolly Roger on it. For moveset, she pulls a non-lethal Riptide with a standard Heart Kiss fireball, but her main skill is basically airbending. She can turn wind into a physical projectile and use it to gently float in the air. So if money bought her all of that pirate paraphernalia, did it also buy her the air manipulation skills? I don't think those abilities just come free with the pirate hat. Number 3, May from Guilty Gear. Her backstory is she was an orphan with no memory of her past, adopted by the captain of the Jellyfish Pirates, the actual Robin Hood pirates that rob from the rich and give to the poor. She's the first mate of the crew, all of which are named after months of the year and look like they would be great on their own fighting game roster. May might be the happiest character in Guilty Gear. She's just ecstatic to have all her friends around. They come out during her instant kill to non-lethally trample the opponent, which is also the cheeriest instant kill in the game. Look at that destroyed graphic, that is such an adorable looking sea creature. Even when she shoots you out of a cannon in XR'd, it's played for laughs rather than to be brutal. It's funny how the opponent is nervously trying to reason with May and her friend, and May looks like she's pretending not to listen.
Do you hear something, May? Yeah, the sound of whatever's in this cannon about to be launched. Fire!
While I've said I love when pirates fight with anchors in this video, and May is no exception, that's not even the best aspect of her playstyle. She uses adorable sea life to fight. Her best friend, Dolphin Coon, is involved in many of her attacks, along with a seal buddy and a few whales. It's like every animal she utilizes is cuter than they'd be if any other character in the game fought with them. Number 2, Johnny from Guilty Gear. While May is the cute pirate, Johnny is the cool pirate and the captain of the crew. While he leads a band of sky pirates to steal, he believes in helping those in need with what he obtains. And what he keeps from his thievery is specifically for his fights, as in he uses coins in battle. He only has 8 coins per match, but they are useful in extending combos, powering him up, or just annoying his foe by stopping the attack when the coin connects. Fun fact, if someone's about to punch you in real life, don't throw change at them. It will not stop them. In fact, it might actually make them angrier. His main weapon is a sword, which is a go-to for any pirate. However, he's not just some heavy sword swinger. Johnny has finesse. He uses the sword fighting technique of Yaido. He combines these skills with his final power of mist manipulation. His slashes create heavy piercing mist that hit uptown, downtown, all around the world. We gonna jump now, and keep your opponent guessing, especially if you manage to max out Johnny's range on these attacks using his coins. When not on the offense, he can use the mist to hinder his foe, or maybe that's just his musk. Get this man some Old Spice. Hey, how about some honorable mentions? Kraken from Power Stone. Very cool design. I like that he modernized himself with a metal claw rather than a hook for a hand. Poison from Street Fighter, the one time she dressed up as a pirate. Every One Piece character who has ever been playable in a fighting game. I intentionally left off One Piece characters on this list, since so many of them work well in their respective fighting games to a point where this list might have accidentally doubled as a top 10 One Piece characters list. And finally, Yuko from Black Belt Challenge for the obscure reference. This was a fighting game only released on the Game Boy Advance that never had another version or sequel. I like the character designs and she fights with a hook. That's about all I can say about it. Number 1, we have an old-fashioned pirate fighting in an old-fashioned setting. Cervantes from Soul Calibur. With how much Nightmare has been seen in the series as the wielder of the Soul Edge and sometimes final boss, you tend to forget Cervantes was the first seen user of the Cursed Sword in the series way back during Soul Edge, or Soul Blade depending on which part of the world you're from. Cervantes obtained the Soul Edge during one of his pirate journeys for power, but since the Soul Edge is really good at corrupting people, he turned into Ghost Rider. You kinda feel bad for Cervantes and Soul Edge since when the sword took over his mind, it made him kill his crew out of bloodlust. And in his arcade mode ending, he clearly feels remorse and is horrified by what he did. He might be immoral, but he still cares about his team and doesn't want to betray those who are loyal to him. Then as time went on, he basically turned into a ghost pirate since his skin started to get that purple shade. He was never officially called a ghost, yet his ship was labeled as a ghost ship. but the Soul Edge did turn him into the closest thing to a Spectre we can get. Look at all of these otherworldly attributes. He stopped aging due to the Soul Edge's curse, he can make his swords fight for him, he can levitate, not to mention the ghostly appearance from Soul Calibur 2 through 4. Soul Calibur 5 restored his human-looking appearance by giving him a new body, but you're not going to learn that in-game or from the story mode, so you might as well just make up your own theories and assume he got uncorrupted and that's his original body, or something like that. His moveset always felt like it had the power of a pirate captain with his big dual swords that would impale from time to time, one of which is a gun sword, which means he's the character that brings a gun to a sword fight, / staff fight, / crystal ball fight. His appearance was always great for a grisly pirate. His facial hair became more plentiful in each game until 5 when he shaved again. He had the hat of a captain, an elaborate outfit, and a rough voice. He might not be the nicest guy, but no one says pirates are the most benevolent types of people. With his former final boss status and super piratey moveset, he takes top spot on this list about fighting game pirates. So, what did you think? Agree? Disagree? Are there any fighting game pirates that I needed to give more recognition? Would you drink rum with any of these guys or ladies I discussed? Let me know in the comments. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to talk like a pirate today if you're watching this the day of this random holiday, even though I disregarded the rules of this day. And I will see you in the next video.